everybody, welcome back to CricTracker's special show In the Air with me, Nivedna Prabhu. Super excited to be having all of you join us. Namaste to everyone who's just come. We're, of course, going to be talking about everything to do with the World Test Championship final, especially about what really went, on for both the teams today, just to kind of see a post-match analysis. And who better than having our special guest back in the studio with us to discuss everything about this high-profile event. For starters, of course, let me call on Oman cricketer Sufyan Mahmood, who is going to be giving us what he really thought and what he thought, panned out from the previous conversation that we had. Sufyan, welcome back. I think there is a technical issue there. We'll come back to Sufyan. But before that, let me also call our second guest, Rakesh, on the show. Rakesh is, of course, a cricket coach as well as an analyst. And he's one of those guests that we have on our show who pretty much manages to get at least 99.9% of the things right. So it's always a pleasure to be in conversation with him. Rakesh, bringing you back on the show in terms of what we did speak earlier. Was this really expected, or do you think clearly New Zealand has the upper hand?
Yeah, I think it is completely. I mean, I was expecting to be personal because observing the nature of the New Zealand players, sticking to the plan, being very disciplined. But just one thing, what I noticed Indian bowlers have done is I think they have come up with a plan to handle Devon Conway because the boundaries what usually he got playing against England. England team was towards covers and towards mid off and all, so they didn't allow him to play more on that side, and more often he played on the leg side. So they had come up with a plan, they executed the plan, but I think Devon Conway is more smarter than Indian bowlers in today's occasion, I would say. He handled them really well, but he must have been very disappointed by getting out at the end of the day's play. Otherwise, I would say clearly the day belongs to New Zealand.
That's right, because we, of course, spoke about Devon Conway earlier as well. He also had that fantastic series against England. And I guess he's, of course, in momentum and he's confident because, of course, it's in England as well. So probably an added advantage. But like how Rakesh said, he would have liked that to culminate into some more runs because we did see that magic of that double hundred. But however, he, of course, has contributed with the bat the most, which has made that difference for New Zealand over there. But let's really come, and talk about, of course, the bowling attack of Team India. Do you think there's a little bit of a disappointment with the way things have panned out, Sufyan? In terms of course, Ashwin did get Tom's wicket and Ishan did get Conway's, but do you think they could have stepped it up, or it was just not their day today?
I think the way New Zealand first, if we see the way New Zealand bowled Indian bat, it was looking like the conditions are very difficult to bat on and very difficult to score runs. And we saw how regular it was. They were able to take wickets. But as far as India's bowling is concerned, I think I have personally been disappointed with them. You see how New Zealand was swinging the ball, how they were getting help off the wicket, but I don't see the same help of when Indian bowlers are bowling. I think they have to come up. They have to come up with a plan tomorrow where they adjust the length and line accordingly. How New Zealand bowled. Bit disappointed today with how they were not able to take wickets. The day definitely belongs to New Zealand, as Rakesh said. I hope tomorrow early morning when they come, and let's hope there's no rain. When they come, they're able to take early wickets like New Zealand did today. But today
Right.
I'm a bit disappointed with their bowling, definitely.
Okay, so of course, that is of course part and parcel of the game because also it's a high-profile event. So the expectations are a lot more because this is just that one series that they're getting to play. So it's like a do or die situation. But I'm going to get our special guest, our third special guest on our show today, Gaurav, who is of course a content creator as well as reporter. Gaurav, great to have you back. How do you think it really panned out after we last spoke?
I think I'm really disappointed with the way Indian bowlers have done in their innings. I think they were attached shorter in their length, and that's the reason why New Zealand batsmen rather played most of the balls on their merit. We have seen whenever the ball was pitch fuller, New Zealand batsmen either Devon Conway or Tom Latham, they were teased. But whenever the ball was on the shorter side, they were comfortable in defending the ball or cutting the ball or pulling the ball in the mid wicket region. So I think I'm a bit disappointed from Indian bowlers that they were not as attacking as they should have been. I think India did are missing Mohammad Siraj in this game, because he's someone who can pitch the ball further up and take the ball away from the left-handers. So I think the day 4 is gonna be
So
very
are you,
crucial.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but are you saying that, of course, that conversation was there about him ideally being in the playing 11? So do you think, I'll also ask Rakesh this question because we did speak about this earlier, of having him in instead of our Ashwin or Jadeja? Is that what you're trying to imply? Because that was pretty much the conversation before the squad was announced.
See, New Zealand went with a five-man pace attack. They didn't pick Ajaz Patel, despite him being in the 15-man squad. So I think, despite of that, they got bundled India out for 217. So I think they would have been a happier side with the bowling performances. So far, Ashwin hasn't got a lot of purchase from the wicket. Yes, he has dismissed Tom Latham. He has got a crucial wicket, but he hasn't got a lot of purchase, and so has Ravindra Jadeja. Obviously,
Right.
these are two of the best spin bowling all rounders going around, as they contribute with their batting abilities as well. But I think seeing Indian bowlers struggle in these conditions, I was really missing Mohammad Siraj over here, because if he would have been here, I think New Zealand batsmen would have been a little bit more anxious in playing the full length deliveries.
What do you think about that, Rakesh?
So I think, I mean, we are only thinking. I think it's just my opinion. I think we're only thinking it in India's point of view. But let's be neutral and analyze it. If you look at, yes, India was sticking to their plan. They were troubling Devon Conway. If you look at the way how Devon Conway played against England, if you look at the strike rate and the fluency of his batting, and
Yeah.
compared it to today's innings, I think India was troubling him. India had a plan, just that the batsmen were really smarter than the Indian bowlers. I would keep it in that way. So let's say if you would have taken Mohammad Siraj in place of let it be Jadeja or somebody, whoever it is, if Siraj would have gone for a lot of runs, then there would have been another type of discussion. So what I feel is, it's just that New Zealand have adapted to the conditions very well than India, and tossers favored them. They took bowling and they really did good job. And in the first half of the day 2, Rohit and Gill was playing very well. So to keep
Right.
it neutral, I think India went with their own plan. They did try to keep up to the plan, and I think they were successful in implementing the plan. But more importantly, I would say New Zealand batsman, especially Tom Latham. Yes, he has just scored 30 runs, but the way he was grinding with the bowlers, just playing the balls, and making it harder for the bowlers, that became slightly easy for Conway, I guess.
That is, of course, about the batsmen, but let's talk about most wickets in away tests among Indian pacers. Quite interestingly, Ishant Sharma with 200, and of course, still counting. Sufyan, I'll come to you about that because the other numbers include 215 for Kapil Dev, Zahir Khan 207, Javagal Srinath 128, and Mohammad Shami 118. So Ishant is, of course, just about behind Kapil Dev and Zahir Khan.
Yes, definitely. Shant, we know he is leading the attack as of now. With the discussion, people talking about Siraj playing in, I think this bowling attack with Ishant, Shami, and Bumrah, on paper, you see they are very experienced and they are very, they have been performing lately. But it's just that, as Rakesh said, credit goes to New Zealand the way they have played with someone bowler like Ishant, who is who has so much of experience. If he's not able to he's not able to deliver as what we were expecting, that means
Yeah.
definitely the opposition is doing well. So credit goes to them. I hope that tomorrow they come up with a new plan, and tomorrow they can take early wickets when the day starts. So that will they will get into a momentum, and New Zealand's batting will go deeper. I mean, they will lose early wickets, and they will not be able to get closer to the score India has scored.
Okay. Before I get talking about a lot more about the statistics and, of course, everything else to do with the World Test Championship final, I want to come to you, Gaurav, on another key player of the World Test Championship final has to be England's weather. Day 4, of course, will also play, a crucial part. How do you look at that? Do you think if there is rain, according to forecast, it's looking cloudy or rainy, what could be the possible outcome? Like, what do you think would go in whose favor if that were to happen?
See, first of all, I think it's very unfortunate that we are witnessing such a brilliant action between the bat and the ball, and in between that, rain is playing a part, the weather is playing a part. So I think it's very unfortunate, and it will be. I'm again saying it will be a shame if these games get draw because of the weather conditions. So I'm praying, and so is every Indian and every cricket fan, that the weather is good, the weather is cricket friendly. But I think if rain is there, if rain occurs, then there will be a little bit of moisture, there will be a little bit of dampness in the pitch, and
Yeah.
there I think the spinners will come more in the occasion. Ashwin is someone who can extract the bounce. He is someone who can get turn from these kind of conditions. So I think if the pitch is moist, if there's dampness in the track, I think Indian bowlers can be more lethal. Having said that, New Zealand have shown great application. I think Ross Taylor is there, Kane Williamson is there, Henry Nichols is there, BJ Watling is a experienced campaigner. So I think Indian bowlers, they need to put up a substantial effort if they want to beat New Zealand in this contest.
Right at the beginning of today, of course, when we did have that pre-match analysis, we were hoping for a great partnership, to continue between Kohli and Rahane, of course. But now looking at things, at the end of the day, even the bowling attack in terms of Team India has not gone the way that probably how fans initially started the day to be looking at that, because we're just going to look at a summary of both the teams of how they've done. Of course, India was bowled out for 217 and 92.1 overs. But when you look at that contrast, as opposed to New Zealand, it's 101 for 2 in 49 overs. And looking at the performances there as well, of course, we did speak about how Kohli and Rahane did, ideally add the most number of runs for Team India. Whereas, of course, Jameson was quite lethal with the ball with 5 for 31, and of course, followed by Bolt and Wagner. But when, of course, you look at the New Zealand side, I'll come to you, Rakesh, on this. Quite a contrast. You look at the number of overs as well. It looks like New Zealand, of course, we're talking about them having an upper hand even when you're looking at the scorecard. But what is it that's not going in India's favor? Because I think even Kohli as a captain, pretty much right now, do you think he's under pressure, or it's just that he's going to come up with a new strategy tomorrow?
So I don't think there is any pressure on Kohli as a captain in this particular game. Indian bowlers were doing well. Just the scorecard. Let's look at the scorecard. If you look at till 27th over, New Zealand were below 2 runs per over. If Indian
Yeah.
bowlers were not executing the plan, New Zealand would have at least scored 2.5 or 3 runs per over. So they were below 2 runs per over. After that, they slightly got that momentum. By then, it is like something where you have to tire the bowlers. Then they'll tend to ball the bad balls. So there, I think a couple of boundaries have come. Maybe when the ball is on the body of Devon Conway, is trying to glance it, and when it is Fuller, he's trying to hit it towards the covers. So those type of small things, I think that really mattered in today's last session. Otherwise, I think New Zealand batsmen really played very well. There's no, I mean, we can't point out anything saying there was something not working out for India. Yes, maybe swing. New Zealand bowlers were extracting a lot of swing than the Indian bowlers comparatively, because of the action, because of the nature of their hitting the deck and all these things. Indian bowlers were not able to find that much swing. And if you see, Mohammad Shami is a guy who relies mostly on the seam position and gets the movement, not the swing. So I think
Right.
that is something which is slightly became disadvantage for India in terms of the last session.
Okay, that of course we're talking about what has really panned out for both the teams. Of course, this match is of course getting exciting. Also because, like we always spoke, it's been like over 2 years that they've been tested. So we do want a result. So we're hoping that the rain also does not play spoil sport once again in this brilliant competition. But Sufyan, I'll come to you before we wrap up. What is the prediction that we're looking for in terms of tomorrow's innings, and what are you placing your bets on, or rather, who can make that change?
Tomorrow, I think New Zealand, New Zealand batsmen are used to playing in these conditions. So I think you might expect more score tomorrow, and they might pass India's score. But what I wish is that Indian bowlers come up with a plan. Like example is Ishant Sharma. I expected a lot from Ishant Sharma because Jameson and Ishant Sharma, they have good height. They both extract good bounce off the wicket. They have good swing, but I'm not able to see that the chance is not to his best. What I see, and
Okay.
as far as yeah, so I think tomorrow we might see a lot of more runs. Not discouraging Indian fans, but I hope Indian bowlers come up with a plan and take wickets.
Okay, that's a great way to look at it, and probably a subtle way to look at it. But it is clear that they, of course, have the added advantage right now. Gaurav, I'll come to you. What are your predictions in terms of, let's, more than making probably the runs and looking at what tally it's going to be? What do you think would be crucial? Because if we talk about what we spoke in the beginning of the day, it was Rahane's wicket, like Rakesh had mentioned, where everything just felt like a pack of cards after that. Where do you think that could possibly happen for New Zealand? That if we get this, then probably Team India has broken through.
I think the first hour of the morning session is going to be very crucial. Indian bowlers should make most of the conditions because I think there will be the conditions will be windy and there will I think there will be a roller on the track after the day's play. So I think there will be a fresh wicket and Indian bowlers should make the most of the first hour. If they don't take a couple of wickets in the first hour, it's going to be a problem for them. They are already trailing in this match, I feel. New Zealand have scored over 100 runs and lost just 2 wickets. They are just
Right.
trailing nearby 100 runs. So I think they have Ross Taylor, Kane Williamson, Devon Conway. And Devon Conway is gone. Henry Nichols, BJ Watling. These all guys are used to playing in these conditions. So I think if India doesn't take any wicket in the morning session, or rather the first hour, I think New Zealand will go way ahead.
Okay, well, that's of course not great news for Indian fans, but they're always known to be optimistic. So let's just keep it on that note. I want to have a look at the scorecard again because Rakesh, I want to come to you. Once we look at the scorecard, what are you expecting for tomorrow? Of course, Gaurav is of the opinion that the first hour could really change things, or rather, like, of course, even today we were looking at that first hour very crucially. So are you of the same opinion?
Yeah, of course, because it's a new day. Because they can. I mean, that momentum is not going to be there. They'll start it again right from the first ball. I think if India can pick up Kane Williamson's wicket in the first 1 hour or half an hour or something like that, or maybe Ross Taylor's wicket, then I think New Zealand will take a back step and then they will go back and the run rate will go down. Then India can put a pressure on New Zealand. So that's how they can take the wickets. Otherwise, if New Zealand doesn't lose the wicket, because when they don't lose the wicket, the runs are going to come, the batsmen are going to get settled down, and they get into that mode where they can really play fluently. So first
Right.
hour is definitely going to be very crucial, and they have to take the wicket either Ross Taylor or Kane Williamson as soon as possible to push New Zealand into trouble.
Either ways, it always looks like, the skipper's wicket is the most crucial, right? Whether we're talking about Kohli or Kane, the eyes are always on, these two players. But having said that, thank you so much to all our guests who have, of course, come on the show once again and given us their probably expectations also from the competition. And more than that, how Team India and New Zealand, of course, did perform today. That's all we have for you on today's edition of In the Air. We're definitely going to be joining all of you once again tomorrow. So definitely stay tuned. And do not forget to send in your questions by using the hashtag AskCricTracker so that tomorrow, of course, it's a fresh day, new day. We'll be having a lot more to be discussing, everything to do with the World Test Championship final. So see you tomorrow. Take care and good night.